Hey guys, welcome back to Easeldoesitstudio. So, I don't know if all of you were here, but back, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, I had made two beautiful blocks with flowers in it. And for some reason, the mold didn't... I had the boards on the outside, but they kind of like caved in. So both my pieces were essentially ruined. This was the bigger of the two. I just took it outside. I sanded the living dickens out of it. And I taped the back because we're going to flood coat the top and the sides and see if we can save this piece. So I'm going to flood coat this. When that's cured, then I'm going to tape all the sides and we'll just top coat the back because I did sand the back as well. So I am going to use the Bond Craftor tabletop resin. I'm going to mix up about 4 ounces because I don't think this is going to take much. And I'm going to get that stirred up. And the table, oh crap, I just poured it to the 4 instead of the 2. So hang on, I gotta dump some out. So hopefully we can save this. So if I can save this piece, my question to you is, would you like to see the whole process with me sanding the piece down? Like the other one, the resin itself isn't real clear. And what it did is it pulled away from the corners. So the corners are like round. The rest of it is okay. So I know I was able to sand this one down. So if you guys would like to see me do that, I will gladly make a video of it. So I was just going to see if I could save this. And then I'm like, you know what? I might as well turn this part into a video for those of you who maybe, you know, still aren't sure on how to flood. What's the difference between a flood coat and a top coat? So we are going to be doing the flood coat first, meaning I want the resin to go over all the sides. So I just took my silicone tabletop mold so that I know my resin's not going to go all over my table because I don't want it to go all over the table. Now, tabletop resin will be very bubbly, and it has a much shorter work time. So you don't run it, and it's thick, so you don't run it through a debubbler. You just use your torch to get the bubbles out. So I'm just going to keep getting this stirred. And then... so like there's a bubble here. Once we fill that with the resin, we won't see it. On the sides, there are a few, there was like some little micro bubbles, and I was having a heck of a time to get the resin, the sawdust, not the sawdust, but you know what I mean, the stuff from the sander out of there. So I brought it upstairs. And I did wash this with Dawn dish soap. And then what I did is I took a straw, you know the little brushes you use to clean your straws? I took that and it pretty much got 98% of all that little like white dotty stuff out. There are a couple of little spots that still have some, but we're just going to go with it. Okay, so I've got that mixed up. I'm just gonna, I am gonna wipe this down with some 91% alcohol, just to make sure that, even though I washed it, just to make sure that I have no fingerprints where it could have oil and it would repel. So now I have my gloves on. I don't have to worry about that handling it. All right, so see how those little, all those little dots, I couldn't get that one out. But I was able to get it out of all of those. So hopefully, and there was this one I couldn't get out either, but I did get out these ones. So I got 90% of them out. All right. So I think, now this is only my second time doing a flood coat, so I'm still new at it too. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of resin onto the two sides, because that's where the bulk of those little micro bubbles are. So I'm gonna start with this side, because this side has the most. So I'm just going to kind of work that in with my finger. And then what that's also going to do is help the rest of the resin kind of slide over the sides. And I'm going to get my scribe here. And I want to make sure that like the bigger bubbles, you want to make sure that you fill that with resin. And that way it will kind of disappear. All right, so let me kind of do this side. So basically, I'm just making sure that the resin is worked into those little tiny micro bubbles. I mean, as best that we can, you know what I mean? We might still miss a little, but the bulk of them will be covered. And I got something in here already. All right, so now I'm going to set my block on here. And I'm going to just do the sides. Now, I don't know if this is even necessary. Probably isn't. But in my pea brain, it's just going to give some of that resin something to flow over, you know, once I start pouring it, because I do want to make sure that my sides are completely covered. So I'm just rubbing that on, getting a coat on there is all I'm doing. Now, I probably mixed up too much, because when you're doing a top coat or a flood coat, you use much less from what I've seen, but we're gonna see. Now see how bubbly that is? So because I know one time I had tried to flood coat something and I really didn't have enough resin, and I had like a few areas that it kind of pulled away. And I just wanted to make sure on this piece that that didn't happen. The other reason I put it in this round thing is so I could spin it and see to make sure that it's even on my sides. So that's looking pretty good. And that is looking good. Looking good. Okay, so yeah, I probably used more resin than I really needed, but like I said, I wanted to make sure. All right, now I just filled my torch. Where is it? All right, so now I'm gonna do the sides first. And you don't want to hold it on there too long because, you know, while you're doing this, it's going to thin out the resin, but you got to get it enough to pop those bubbles. All right, so here we go. So we'll give that a few minutes. Looks like you can see there's still bubbles in there. All right, where is my scribe? So I want to make sure that that little hole gets filled in. I'm just checking my sides. See if there are any holes that I need to poke. I'm not seeing any. So the tabletop resin sets up much quicker than regular resin. So I'm just gonna kind of run my finger along the bottom here. It's dripping, but it's starting to drip much slower. Because this would have been a really pretty piece had it not gone all wonky on me. So yeah, so I'm just going to kind of babysit this for a little bit. And don't know if it says on here how long it takes to set up. No, it doesn't. But I know it's not a long time at all. But we have our sides are nice, even. They're completely coated all the way around. All right, I thought I saw a spot that didn't have any, but it had some. And I'm gonna, because I touched that with my finger, I just want to make sure that it's leveled back out. So there were a few little bubbles inside the piece, which I was okay with. It was just, you know, it was like this side was bowed in, that side was, I mean, there's still a slight bow here, but I think it's, you know, it's going to be fine now. And I have something. Oh, I guess that's in the original piece. So yeah, so the dripping is almost stopped. And I mean, you can leave the, you know, the drips on the bottom if you want, because we will get them off with the heat gun after. But this way here, we won't have like big drips. I want to make sure I keep it on my cups. Okay, guys, so I will be back when this is ready to take the top off and then top coat the, I'll tape it and then we'll just top coat the back. So this was the flood coat, and I will be back for the top coat of the other side. Let's hope and pray this stays just as gorgeous looking as it is right now. Alrighty, guys, I'll be back for the next step. Okay, guys, so this is our finished piece, and I'm pretty pleased with this. So I'm just going to move this aside, and we are going to get the tape off. So let me see. I've got to find an area here that I can lift up. So we're going to peel this, and then we are going to tape the sides, and we're going to do a top coat. And where's my heat gun? All right, so we are, I got multiple projects here going at once, so I'm just gonna start heating it up. There we go. It's just getting that side started. There we go. So I'm just heating it up, and you can literally feel when it's ready to lift. Oh. So I'm just like holding tension, and as it warms up, you can just feel it lift. So what I'm gonna do, I wasn't too smart. I put my pieces like the long way, and I should have done it the other way, but you know, live and learn. All right, and I'll start getting this heated up down here. And there's a little tape there. I'll just get that off with my knife here in a minute. Okay. Finito. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, these edges are somewhat rounded, but I'm hoping we will be able to, get it so it does not fall over. So the reason I'm taping the sides is so if it does go over, it's not going to ruin the piece. It's a little too high. And you don't want it too high because then you'll have a ridge. It might be a little high, but and like I said, I'm still learning, so we're learning together, guys. Okay. So we have our sides nice and protected. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. We're gonna put our container back. And we're just gonna set that like this. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm only gonna mix up 2 ounces because we did the flood coat with 4. So I think the 2 ounces is going to be enough. And again, we're using the Bond Craftor tabletop, which is a 1-to-1. Let me grab some gloves. All right, so I'm gonna go to 2 ounces. Oh, no. No, we're not going to 2 ounces. There, whippersnapper. I only wanted to go to 1 because we're only making 2. All right, let me let that go back down. Oh my goodness gracious. think that is going to do it. Yeah, that's going to be really close. All right, and I'll maybe just go over the 2 ounce line with part B, because I do know there is a little on the sides, but all right, so then we'll just go to the 2. Yeah, we'll go just a smidge above. There we go. And I will get this mixed. And 2 ounces is even probably too much, but and this is going to be really bubbly. So on the first part, we did the flood coat where we poured it and we had it dripping into the thing. This time we're just top coating, and that is we're only putting it on the surface. So we don't want this one to run over. And where this is the back, and I wasn't originally even going to do the back, but there were a few little minute scratches, so I'm like, you know what, we might as well. If I'm trying to save it, we might as well try and save it. And yes, this stuff is really bubbly, but that's where your heat gun comes into play. All right, move the tape out of my way. And I am going to wipe the surface off just to make sure that we have no fingerprints or dust or grease or whatever. Now right here, it might run off a little bit, but I'm gonna watch it and we will see. And I'm trying to think, what do I want to use to spread it? All right, I'm gonna give one more good mix around the sides, the bottom, and that should be good. The less amount of resin you have, the easier it is to get it all combined in better than if you have a lot of resin. I do have some brushes that I have not even used yet. Maybe we'll use, I have used this one, but let me wipe it off just to make sure. Okay. So let's just get some poured. So this time I'm trying to, I want to stay away from the edge if possible. All right, so let's start with that. And let's maybe just try the scribe and see how that. All right, so I'm just gonna pull it to the edge. I don't want it to go over, but I do want it to touch the edge. Oh, if that went over a little bit, just wipe it if you notice that it goes off. Because if you don't, the resin will follow the resin. So I tried to make sure I didn't round the back too much. You know, like this is a big amount, but it's holding. That surface tension is holding that. So it is not going over. So I'm just going to pull some of that down. So the reason that I put it back in this silicone tray is so that I could move it around easier than trying to stick my head up over it and put my head in you guys' way. So that is the reason that I put it back in this silicone. You know, even though I know I don't want any to go over, but and that way, if I did have a oops and it did go over, I'm not stressed that it's going to get all over my table. That's the one spot right here that I'm nervous about. When I sanded it, I kind of like divoted in a little bit. So yeah, I just don't want it to go over, but I also don't want it to really pull away from the bottom. I mean, if it pulled away a little bit, I'd be okay because you know, if I did sell this, it probably is just going to be at cost because of all the issues that I had making this thing. And I was so bummed because this came out so pretty. So I do want to do another one, but I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get those sides from not bowing in like they did. So now I just want to fill the rest of the top of the surface. And I don't want it too thick because once we heat it with the torch, it, you know, it's gonna thin down some. But I don't want to put too much because then we have a chance of it going over the edge. So start and just add little bits at a time. That's kind of like what I'm doing here. I mean, if I did this more often, then, you know, I would have like a better idea of how much you can put before you go over. There's a bubble right there. Let's see if I can move it. So you definitely, you want to have enough that it covers the whole surface because you don't want any fish eyes where are like little patches where the resin's pulling away from. And you want it thick enough because then it will give you that nice hard finish that tabletop gives you. Tabletop is definitely a harder finish than regular resin because it's meant to go on, you know, counters and have that wear and tear. You know, and it is self-leveling, so you don't have to worry about, but make sure your area is level. Let's see, I have this right in here. And I've got a few areas that are pulling away from the edge, so go back over those. And after like 15 minutes or so, your resin should be not moving anymore. Now, the only thing I don't like about like top coating with the tabletop is because it is so bubbly, and if you try to pour in something, it's a nightmare to get those bubbles out. All right, so I'm just gonna check those edges one more time. So looking good. Looking good so far. So let me get my little torch here. And just don't hold it on there too long, because that can break your tension as well. And then so I'm trying to take that extra little to make sure like there's nothing that's gonna make my piece a mess. So this video was supposed to go out 3 days ago, but it didn't happen, so I figured we'd get it finished now. All right. Okay, that is looking really good, guys. So hopefully we were able to save this piece. Might have a little sharp edge here. My tape is a little high, but that I'm fine with that. I can use the deburrer or a sandpaper, a nail file or something. All right, that is looking fantastic, except I see a little hair right there. You know, and I'll leave this room and I'll come back and there'll still be something on it. So I'm gonna stand up here, really give it a good once over. I'm gonna hit it one more time with the heat gun and then I should be good. Alrighty, guys, I will be back when this is cured and we can see the final piece. Alrighty, guys, I'll be back. Alrighty, guys, are we ready? Let's peel our tape. Oh my gosh, got a little, there we go. So, were we able to save it? I believe we were. So, I managed to save this piece. Why do I have like a circle on there? Oh, you know what? Oh, it was from the cup. Are you kidding me? All right, so we're going to call it done for the sake of this video. But yeah, you can see those cup marks. So I'll sand it and just top coat it again. That's fine. Like I said, it's not perfect, but at least, you know, I could set this somewhere and it be a beautiful piece to look at. So yeah, I am happy with the turnout on this one. So at least I know I can save something if it, you know, goes awry. But yeah, I think it came out amazing. So I'll just, you know, just for my own purpose, I'll just sand that with like a fine grit and then just do a top coat. But I'm not going to video it. You guys can see the resin isn't as clear as I would have liked. And I think it was because it was curing too fast. But we could always put like a color in the background too, you know. So, but at least I saved it. I can enjoy it. Alrighty, guys. Hopefully this helped letting you know the difference between a flood coat and a top coat, because it took me a little while to figure out, you know, the difference in those. So, and I know I do have a few, you know, new people on here, so hopefully that helped you guys. Alrighty, I will see you on the next video, guys. Bye.